About a year ago, we started on a journey. That journey has seen us explore co-working and how the world is changing, how it's changing in the office space, how all of our needs are becoming, we want things that are more convenient, we want everything on our doorstep, and how that has changed the office world. That journey see us partner a year ago with one of the world's most top and up-and-coming and exciting co-working companies, which was Ourspace, and today we'll be hearing from the CEO. And also a journey that has shown us how they've delivered and exceeded expectations from everyone that invested last year, that dipped their toe in the water, that has seen the returns come through on a month-to-month basis, that this actually works, it's there. And how fantastic is it that we're investing from Malaysia and KL, and just in that short 1 year window, 1 year ago, when we were sitting here explaining, the rise of co-working in America, in the UK, in Australia, in Singapore, just in that 1 year, we've seen 3 luxury co-working companies come to KL. You've got W Space, opened in January, 100% full. Common Ground, opened in February in Bukit Damansara, 90% full. The Colony, the newest one, KLCC, is now only open 4 weeks, and it's already, at least 30-40% full. So the journey is changing this world, and the opportunity we have today is we're going to be discussing in section 3 of this presentation. I'll be taking some of you new people that have never perhaps even heard of co-working, may have seen it around a few times, but I'll be helping you to understand exactly what that is and how you can get involved, and more importantly, how you can all profit from this amazing space. Today we'll be hearing from 2 other people apart from me. You'll be hearing from Mastery Asia's owner KCC. Having spent over 40 years in this industry, delivering training sessions, courses, there's no one that knows business and entrepreneurship better than this guy, my personal friend. And he'll be telling you his views and thoughts on co-working and how he thinks it's changing not only KL but the world. And you'll be hearing from the Ourspace CEO, Kevin Halliwell himself. He's flown in just for this event, and he'll be giving you, and some of the existing investors in the room today, I'm sure this might be your first time meeting him. He'll be giving you some updates on what's been happening in the last 12 months, but also, more excitingly, what's coming up in the future. And we do have some very good special offers today as well, some family founding investor offers, which we'll go through, that will only be valid for the next 7 days, so that's quite exciting. So to all of you that made the effort to come today, we really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And for the first person on the stage, we're going to get KCC, and he'll tell you about his up-and-coming involvement with Ourspace and with the co-working sector. Say hello to KCC.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
How many of you have met me or heard me spoke before? Okay, how many of you have never met me or heard me spoke before? Okay, how many of you don't give a damn whether you have or you haven't? Anyway, my name is Casey, and I'm very pleased to meet you all this morning. I want to give you a little bit of background how Mastery Asia is involved with this. Mastery Asia started 30 years ago. The Crest Group started 3 years ago. Mastery Asia started 3 years ago. One of the areas that we do is we have been mentoring and coaching close to about 15,000 people over the last 20 years in different programs, from Money Mastery, which is our core program, to other areas. And what happened is, as we grow the community, one of the things I do is to coach and to mentor people in business and investment. And I was asked to write a column for SME and Business and Entrepreneurship magazine a couple of years ago. This is the magazine you can find on the newsstand. So I write a monthly column. One of the things I did was to do some research as to the top 10 business opportunity for the year. So I remember in 2015, I wrote an article, and one of the top 10 opportunities which I researched and identified is co-working space, or sometimes we call it shared office or virtual office, that arena. And there was a lot of interest in that area. And I repeated, so when I did 2016 top 10 opportunity, I felt there was still a lot of opportunity, but at that time there isn't those players that was just told, Dean mentioned this now, there are 3 big players now in the market now. They only came in the last 1 year. Yeah. So I kind of predicted one of the top 10 opportunity. So last year when Dean approached me and told me about this company called Ourspace, I was very excited, and I said, let's make this international world-class co-working space organization available in this part of the world. And so that's how Master Asia is involved. And further than that, the announcement that we're going to set up one such office in Malaysia was so exciting. I mean, when I heard that, I said, great, that we are going to have one in KL. And of course, I want to play a part in that, so we decided that we want to be one of the investors in this place that we're going to set up. And I'm sure my other speaker will tell you about it. So we're very pleased to be involved and to participate in this. And I have a couple of slides to show you, but I don't think that's very important.
Welcome to another Mastery Asia event.
This is just my company.
Since 1996.
So sorry, this is the commercial part.
Trained and mentored thousands of people for multiple sources of income. With members from over 20 countries, Mastery Asia provides high-quality programs and real-world strategies to achieve personal and financial success. The various programs by Mastery Asia include Money Mastery, a flagship program with over 12,000 graduates and their amazing success stories.
1999, I was a bankrupt. But today, I own more than 100 properties and more than 20 businesses. So what I learned from Money Mastery is creating multiple sources of income. And I'm glad I have multiple sources of income right now that can feed me for the next 3 generations.
Certified Professional Trainer, CPT, which has mentored over 1,100 professional trainers from over 6 different countries.
Very impressive experience. You can't imagine how fast it could be if you attend this program. If you want a trainer and take this course, will be a very good accelerator and a tool for you to learn very comprehensive skills of being a trainer.
Our Property Investment Mastery Series has the most comprehensive coverage of investment strategies and know-hows with some of the top experts in the region. Stock Investment Mastery Series covers value investments, stock options, Forex, and commodities trading. Our Digital Marketing Mastery programs distinguish themselves from the rest as the only result-based program available. The Institute of Entrepreneurship is set up to help entrepreneurs to transform their work-hard business into smart business, as well as to help startups start on the right foot.
So it's very practical, and I would say that for anyone who is looking for something that is workable, not just theory but something very real, I would strongly recommend that you consider Casey's
Mastery Asia Investors Group, an exclusive investors club for the Mastery Asia community that connects its members with investment opportunities that are not readily available in the marketplace. It also acts as a bridge between investors and our members with great ideas who need funding. Over the past 20 years, Mastery Asia has grown and expanded the business across Asia, including Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia, China, and Thailand. Thank you for being with us, and have an awesome time.
Okay, thank you for your patience listening to our commercial. That's why we give you food. There ain't no free lunch, right? Okay, just joke. So, very pleased to have all of you here, and the very exciting news is that we will set up one in KL, and we are the company Master Asia. As some of you may be aware, I don't know if you are, but we are getting ourselves listed by the end of the year, and we're also updating all our members, especially the members of the Master Asia Investor Club. The updates and so forth on Monday. So if you have an interest to find out more about what we're doing in terms of our listing and opportunities there, just check with my staff. We have something going on Monday evening as well. Food will also be provided. So I'm very, very excited to have met the person all the way from UK, from head office, to be here, and Mr. Holiday Bell, I hope I pronounced him correctly, and he's here to share with you as well. Now I will pass you back to Dean first, is it?
No, it's really Kevin.
Kevin, my worst time. Let's give Kevin a warm
Are we on? Yeah, we're on. Yeah, that's good. Okay, morning everybody. Nice to be here in KL on a lovely rainy day. At least we got some sunshine yesterday, so that was good. Thanks to Casey for his introduction, and especially thanks for inviting me and the R-Space team down to Malaysia to come and meet everybody. I've already met this morning some of our existing investors, so welcome to our existing investors, and also welcome to our potential new investors as well. So everybody welcome with R-Space. Let me start by taking you through co-working. What is it? Well, the first thing you need to know is it's the hottest sector of the commercial real estate sector right now. The hottest sector. There are some serious players becoming involved with it from an investment point of view, institutional players. And when that happens, you always know that there's something going on in a good way in an industry when the big players, like the banks, there's a Japanese bank called SoftBank, just made a huge investment of $4.4 billion into the industry leader, a company called WeWork. Now, WeWork started only 7 years ago with a little startup in New York, 5,000 square feet only. Today, they've got more than a million, in fact, no, it's 10 million square feet of co-working space around the world. Phenomenal growth, funded by major institutions like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and now SoftBank. So it's true that the big institutional investors are starting to come into this sector, but with very, very selective players. The other thing we know about this industry is that the investors only value scale in a co-working business, and the local operators will continue to be small family businesses unless they can get to become part of a scale organisation. So scale is the key to this. If you look at even the boring old serviced office sector, companies like Regus and Servcorp, Compass in the Asian market, only the ones that have got multiple offices in multiple countries have got high valuations. Everybody else, the local operators, have got very low valuations. So the key to this business is to become a global player. And the good news is that R-Space has been set up from the outset to be a global player in the co-working market. And to show our intent, our first 4 co-working units that we're currently delivering are on 4 different continents. Now, nobody else has ever done that, and it's not easy to do. But what you need is a background like this to be able to lead a team and deliver a plan on a global scale from day one. My previous business that I started being involved with in 1998, that I sold in 2014. We built a business on 34 countries with revenues of more than $100 million. That was in the bathroom and plumbing industry. So if you go and look me up on LinkedIn or any of the other social media tools, you can read about that business. But very, very interesting. It's what I describe as a get-rich-slow scheme. It took me quite a long time. Yeah, there you go. That was excuse me. That was my background, starting from scratch and growing a global business with a great management team, a great strategy, and obviously great delivery to get to 100 million US of revenue. That business is still going. and still continuing to go from strength to strength, probably more so since I left. So, co-working. As we know, it's now the hottest sector in the real estate market, and a lot of people don't understand really, what co-working is all about and why it's different from what Regus and Servcorp have been doing for the past 25 or 30 years. Well, let me explain to you. What's happening now in the corporate world? All the big companies have all got their corporate headquarters and everybody's got their office with their name on the door and a picture of their family on the desk. And you go inside and there's nobody sat at the desk. This is a common look around big companies. You go from office to office to office, nobody there. And the real estate, they're in the centre of KL, they're in the centre of Hong Kong, Singapore, London, New York, paying top real estate prices. Nobody sat at the desk. So it was only a matter of time before people started to consider how you could better get use of such expensive real estate. Anybody ever been to a restaurant? Nobody eats? Everyone's been to a restaurant. Okay, so you go to a restaurant, there's the table, you sit down, 1 hour, 2 hours, you eat your dinner, you leave. Next person comes, sits at the same table, eats the dinner, leaves. Anybody got a gym membership? Yeah? Okay. You go to a gym. How many treadmills are there in your gym? 5. 5? How many members has the gym got? Not 5, is it? 500 more like, right? So everybody can share the same equipment. So you go to a gym, there's all the equipment, and as a member, when the equipment's free, you can use it. Well, that's exactly what co-working is all about. We put an office together with great environment, lots of business facilities, cafes, added value facilities, spa, restaurants, lockers, car parking, the whole 9 yards that everybody needs when they're at work and at play, and we let everybody share it. Of course we do fixed office space as well, because some people they want to be able to take an office and lock it up and leave their things in the office. That's fine, no problem with that. But when people want to share, we have to give the facility for people to share. And what that unlocks in this business is a big difference in commercial real estate between linear revenue and non-linear revenue. Now let me explain what that is, because it's really important. This is the key to co-working. If I was a standard serviced office provider, I would rent a big space like this room and I'd cut it up into 20 pieces, and I'd rent one piece to this gentleman here and another piece to the lady there and another piece to the couple here. And what would happen is that when all those spaces are let, that's the end of my revenue. Yeah. Now, we've got more people than offices in this room. So if we can all share, what we can do is we can take one piece of real estate here, and when you need it, you can use it. When this gentleman needs it, he can use it. And when the lady needs it, she can use it. And that is the concept of co-working. Yeah? So instead of paying a high price for a single piece of real estate, you pay a lower price and you share it. It suits some people, it doesn't suit others. But the ones that it suits really get a benefit from it. What we also find in co-working spaces is that big companies come in and they do their own internal co-working. Let's take, KPMG. Yeah? They're working on a big audit in Hong Kong, and they need to bring in another 200 audit clerks from outside to do a big audit. Well, there's certainly no room in their head office in Hong Kong, so it'll be full with people's desks with the picture of the family on it that are not there. So they can't sit in those desks. So what do? They take space in a co-working location. Happens all the time. Hong Kong, London, Ireland, where there's a big IT community that supports Microsoft and Apple and these kind of companies. And they'll take, for 200 people, they might take 40 or 50 desk spaces. And those 200 people will share those desk spaces. Why can they do that? Because most of the week, the audit clerks are in their client's office doing the audit. And then they come back and they do all their paperwork. And if this gentleman's on Monday and the lady's on the Tuesday and this gentleman on Wednesday, between 40 or 50 desks, we can service and accommodate 200 staff, but within a confined space, so we get the company security that something like KPMG would desire. So what did we learn from that? We learned that co-working isn't just for new entrepreneurs that have started a business and they're developing some software on their own or whatever it is. Of course it's for them, but it's also for SMEs, it's for medium-sized companies, it's for companies looking to expand into new geography, and it's also for multinationals. Now that sounds like a business that appeals to everybody, doesn't it, from a customer point of view? And it absolutely does. And because of that appeal, and because we can now get multiple revenues for the same space, that's why the institutional investors have recognised the opportunity in this space and are piling in with hundreds of millions and billions of dollars into this sector. Yeah, understand the opportunity? Yeah, you get it? Fantastic. Okay, so there's a little video that I just want to show you. This is on YouTube, so you can go on there and look at it later as well. And what this does, it neatly summarises what co-working is and how it appeals to the different categories of people.
The number of co-working spaces around the world has increased by 400% in the past 2 years. These innovative spaces are cropping up everywhere. Co-working is redefining the way we work. Co-working spaces offer more than just shared offices and good coffee. These collaborative communities provide something special: connectedness. With the cultural shift to mobility, more people are parting ways with their traditional work environment. Let's see why people are ditching their cubes, giving up their home offices, and moving from their local coffee shops. In a corporate setting, the average cube shrank from 500 square feet to 200 square feet. To reduce cost and enhance productivity, corporations are adopting alternative work strategies. This freedom allows their employees to work, well, anywhere. Home offices offer an integration of work and life. Over 20 million Americans work from home, including 90% of freelancers. Yet the lack of social interaction can lead to loneliness and slower business growth. And there are distractions. Distractions and distractions. Many workers seek public spaces for relief. Coffee shops can be found on every corner. This trendy workspace offers free Wi-Fi and good coffee. But the fact is, coffee shops are not designed for work. The noise and lack of privacy are major complaints. As a result, only 2% of freelancers still rely on them to conduct their business. So where can workers go? Co-working spaces help workers find accelerated serendipity. Freelancers can bounce ideas off small business owners. Entrepreneurs can inspire corporate refugees. And fledgling startups can quickly build a diverse social network. All here in one interactive space. Now go find a co-working space in your town and experience accelerated serendipity for yourself.
Okay, so that's a quick view really from the global point of view of what co-working is all about. And I'm sure we've all been and had a coffee in a coffee shop. The amount of laptops that you see in coffee shops these days, they're on every table, aren't they? Why is that? Well, because Starbucks and Costa and Pacific and all these coffee companies give free internet. And of course, the coffee is the price of the internet these days in a coffee shop, isn't it? Except it's gone wrong for them, because what people were doing was realising that was an acceptable workspace. They go early in the morning, they buy one coffee for whatever it is, 8-10 ringgit, and they sit there all day. Well, that ruins their business model, doesn't it? Go back to my restaurant analogy from before. A coffee shop needs to turn that table 20, 30, 50 times a day, right, to make profit. So if you go and sit there all day, you're causing a huge problem. So what did they do? They started to give you a ticket with the coffee that gives you 1 hour internet. Well, at least now they guarantee 8 coffees off you if you stay all day. So, they've got to find ways to repair their broken business model because it's broken. Yeah. I've seen a coffee shop, actually, it's a small chain in Manchester in the UK, and the company is called Zifferblatt. That's a word, isn't it? Zifferblatt. And that's the German word for clock face. Is that right? Our German friend at the back? Yeah. And what they do, all of the coffee in the coffee shop and all of the cake and all of the sandwiches are all free. Free. They charge you for the time you spend there. That's clever, isn't it? I think that's really clever. And I also think it's really honest. And they've taken an honest approach to a problem that the entire coffee shop industry is suffering from right now. People are not going there to buy coffee. They're going to buy time and internet. So why don't they pay for that? We'll give them the coffee for free. So, crazy situation, that a business model, Starbucks, I mean, God, it must be one of the most wealthiest companies in the world with a broken business model. And it takes a new startup to come along and redefine the coffee shop industry. But this is what happens. Dean will take you through a few companies later that are really, taking a storm in the world at the moment and are doing things differently. Who'd have thought that the world's biggest taxi company would have no taxis in 2017? But it does, it's true. Who'd have thought the world's biggest retailer would have no stock? But it's true as well. So we've got some real old business paradigms going on where models have to be turned on their head. And one of those paradigms is, why pay for a desk that nobody uses? Let's pay for a desk that everybody uses. And that's where we are in the co-working industry. So, what makes our space different? Well, a couple of things really. Firstly, our concept design that I'll come back to in just a little while. Fundamentally, humans were intended to be connected with nature. It's a million-year-old philosophy, isn't it? And in the workplace, there's pretty much none of that connection in the world today. So our concept design team were briefed to reconnect humans with nature. And that's exactly what they've done. And that is something completely unique and completely different to what anybody else is offering in the sector. And everybody that comes to our workspace are all absolutely wowed because it is the best available in the market, without question. Second thing you need to do in order to build a good business is to have good people. We've got one of them right here. So this is a people business, there's no question about that. We have to provide co-working facilities so that people will recognise and like what we've done and come and work and use the space in a way that's relevant to them and obviously pay for the privilege. And that's no different to the gym model. Here's a man that started a little gym business in 1996. He was one of the founder members of a gym business called Fitness First. Anybody heard of them? Yeah, I think they've got quite a few today, haven't they? Yeah, they've turned out to be quite big. And this guy was the people person in Fitness First. And he was responsible for putting 1.6 million members in over 500 health clubs. So he's the kind of guy that I like by my side when we're embarking on a people business. Anyway, let me not tell you about him, let him tell you about himself.
Hi, I'm Sean Phillips, Chief Operating Officer at our space. My role within the organization is basically one of support. Make sure that our amazing workspaces are filled with motivated members and residents, and to make sure that the entire organization is supported throughout the entire length and breadth of what we do on a daily basis. Hello to magnificent Malaysia and the entire Wealth by Design team. I'm sure that you guys are all being looked after by Dean and Mika and are having a great time in one of my favorite places in the world, Malaysia. Can't wait to get there and to help expand the wonderful world of our space in that glorious, glorious area. We're super excited to have you guys on board and for your amazing support and really for being kind of part of the family along this amazing journey. Coworking is really taking the world by storm. It's the fastest growing sector of the real estate industry and has seen a 7-fold increase since 2011 alone. Both the private and public sectors are seeing immense profitability in co-working. In the United States, the private sector has pumped billions of dollars into co-working, and in Canada, the Canadian government has put over $3 million into expanding co-working in Toronto alone. Co-working is exploding in Asia. Business hubs such as Hong Kong, China, and Singapore have pumped hundreds of millions of dollars into the development of co-working and the entire sector. Demand for co-working has skyrocketed in the last few years, and the demand for co-working continues to grow. One of the most amazing statistics out there is that by 2020, 40% of the workforce is going to be either a freelancer, an independent contractor, or a solopreneur. That's amazing. 78% of co-workers today are under the age of 40. What we're seeing is a really cool mix where we have 5 different generations actually working together, from baby boomers down to millennials. You have baby boomers who were kind of pre-technology, mixing with millennials who are helping the baby boomers kind of get connected, shall we say. Right? But the baby boomers are helping the whole learning curve of a millennial to say, hey, here's kind of where we started from and where we're going. It's a wonderful mix and a wonderful collaboration of the generations. At our space, we're all about enhancing your well-being. So we've enhanced our workspaces to include a number of signature benefits. Our water bars, our greenery, the technology, our Zen rooms to help you relax during the day, our tantrum rooms to help you just get it all out, as well as some of our signature activities. In Marbella, you can go walk on the beach. You can have an at-desk massage. You can come and do yoga with us as well. So Marbella is just a beginning. We're now on a quest to build over 500 our space locations across the globe. 2017 will see us open locations in Dubai, Leeds, Miami, Manchester, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Beyond that, we've set our sights on locations in LA, San Francisco, Chicago, Sydney, Australia, Amsterdam, Dublin, Berlin, Paris, Manila, Frankfurt, and Shanghai. I'd just like to say thank you to Dean and Mika and everybody in magnificent Malaysia for your continued support for what is about to be an amazing global phenomenon here at our space.
There you go, that's Sean. So you can see why I like to work with him, can't you? What a good guy. So he touched there on some of our plans, and when I look on this banner here, it says 50 locations, and I think he said 500, didn't he? He did, right? So we've massively upgraded our plans. Let me just explain that to you. 50. This is where we started off as our phase 1 expectation, and we always expected and still expect to build all 50 of those to our own specification. The 500. That's where we're going to get our global scale from. We will become the global challenger to WeWork. Now, I'm not saying we'll be as big as WeWork. They're a $20 billion company, yeah? I'm not that crazy. But there isn't a global challenger that operates on all 4 continents apart from WeWork. There isn't one. And there is now. It's called our space. So that's where we're going to be. We've got institutional investment coming in alongside private investment. Of course, creating a network of 500 co-working locations is not cheap. That's going to be way over $1 billion of investment. But we've got the right connections, My other business is a capital house, so I'm very, very well connected in institutional finance. Again, go to my LinkedIn page, I see all that stuff. And the R-Space business is going to scale. And like I said before, what's valued in this industry, the only thing that's valued in this industry is scale. So when businesses sell, the small local businesses, you're all familiar with a method of valuation called the price-earnings ratio, yeah, PE ratio, heard that term? Yeah. Okay, so local businesses tend to get somewhere between, depending on their small scale, 1 unit up to 10 units, they might get a PE ratio, multiple of their profit, of between 2 and 5 at sale, okay? Look at Regus. Now they're a very, very traditional business with a linear business model, not a non-linear business model, a linear business model. We'll look them up in the pink pages in the financial press. Yeah, they currently sit with a published PE ratio of 25. Yeah, sleepy old business with a PE ratio of 25. Servcorp, not quite as big as Regus, but still valued at over $1 billion, Servcorp. PE ratio published, 20. Yeah, WeWork, wow, don't even ask. They've got a valuation today of more than $20 billion. Yeah, profits we estimated about 100 million right now. So that gives them a PE ratio, if my maths is pretty good, of about 200. So again, I'm not that crazy. I'm not claiming 200 as a PE ratio. If we could get into the 25s and 30s, where the linear guys are, and bear in mind that we look an awful lot more like the WeWork business model than we do look like the Regus business model in terms of potential of future earnings. There's no reason why, as investors, we shouldn't be getting those kind of returns from this hot sector and the co-working industry. So, Dean will take you through the business model in just a little while, but I'm just trying to give you, more of the industry fundamentals, so you've got the big picture, the macro view, as it were, to be able to then base your judgments against. So, let's have a look at some of the locations that we've got at the moment. So you heard Sean mention we're already open in Marbella, in the south of Spain. It's where all the jet set of Europe go and play and work. So that's a super little location down there. That was our first one. So we didn't do it too big. We only did it 8,000 square feet, and we did it in such a way that we could use it as like a little pilot development. So, if we were going to create a retail concept, some shops, we'd always have one that was the pilot, and then you test all the new concepts in there, see what works, see what doesn't work, making mistakes, somewhere quiet and off the side, rather than somewhere like this that's right on the front page. So the next one that's actually going to open, and it's about 3 weeks away at the moment, that's all. Is the Dubai site. So this really will be the first of our flagship global megacity sites. So we're in the Lamborghini building. As you can see, it's quite impressive. It's right on the main highway in Dubai, on Sheikh Zayed Road. Very, very prominent. Everybody knows where it is. There's another prominent building in Dubai. It's a hotel. And it's the world's only 7-star hotel called the Burj Al Arab. Anybody heard of that? Yeah? Okay. That was designed by an architect from Uruguay, I think, called Carlos Ott, O-T-T. So is the Lamborghini building. So this is the world's biggest Lamborghini showroom. The world's biggest. And across the bottom here is the car showroom, and then you can see the cars go up the side as well. So we've got a vertical showroom, which is quite unique in the Lamborghini showroom. And then just under the Lamborghini Dubai logo at the top, all of the top floor there is all R-Space. So it's 21,000 square feet, there or thereabouts. So about 2,000 square meters if you've already converted it in your money. Again, because we're in Dubai, we're at the high luxury end of the market. That's what Dubai demands, of course. And as you heard from Sean and me earlier, we're reconnecting humans with nature. And if you can't get people outside in nature, well, the other way to do it is to bring the outside inside. And the design study, if you want to go and look it up, is actually called biophilic design. Yeah, horrible word, doesn't it? It sounds like you've got a bad leg, but, but that's what it's called, biophilic design, and it's the study of bringing the outdoors indoors. Our concept design team, Dean will tell you more about them later, have absolutely embraced that philosophy. And when you go into this building and the lift door opens, this is what you see. So it doesn't look like any other office that I've been in recently. But lift door opens and you can see elementally here, you've got the greenery, you've got wood, you've got stone, you've got water, we've got a river running through the reception. There is greenery and plants everywhere in this office. What does that do? Plants provide oxygenation, yeah? So when that lift door opens and you take your first breath in our space, it's energizing and uplifting because the air is super oxygenated in the R space unit. There's a type of building problem called sad building syndrome, yeah? You go into a building and you feel like, oh God, and it's oppressive. This is completely the opposite of sad building syndrome. This is, you walk in there and you're ready to work. The R-Space philosophy for the member is to be the best you can be. So in order to do that, you've got to work in the best environment, you've got to eat right, you've got to be energized at all times, you've got to drink the right things, you need to be fresh and prepared the whole time. And we provide every facility that everybody needs to be the best they can be. So, our space in Dubai, we have a spa in there. Yeah. So, while you're at work, you can have a massage. You can get your hair done. You can get your nails done. You can have beauty treatments. You can even have, as Sean said, a head, neck and shoulders massage at your desk, free of charge. Free of charge. So we bring features into the workplace that nobody else has. We also are going to have a childcare facility in Dubai as well. So again, for new entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, obviously childcare is an issue, isn't it? And if you've got to drop the children off on that side of town and then work on this side of town, the logistical problems start to really add up. So if you've got childcare on site, then it solves all of those problems. Again, Dubai is very much a part of the Muslim community, and we recognise that, and we provide special women-only co-working in Dubai. Yeah, ladies-only area. It's obviously very important from a cultural point of view that we give lady entrepreneurs the space and the opportunity to start their business and be with other like-minded, business-minded women. So we've done that. It's a world's first. Nobody else has a ladies-only co-working area. We do. We recognise that it's all about the member. We have to give people what they want, and they will come and they will choose our space over any other provider if we provide the right facilities. As Sean said, we provide alkaline balanced water. So again, the water that you drink is perfected to be correct for the human body. We have a coffee bar. We have a restaurant in Dubai as well. So you can eat the best food, you can drink the best coffee. We do that in a couple of ways. We've got some stand-up kind of espresso bar tables. Thank you. Got my time on. Thanks guys, bye.
As long as you do.
We've got an espresso bar where you can stand up and have a very quick meeting. We've got a lounge area where you can sit down and relax and go into a detailed meeting. And we've got a restaurant area where you can eat the best food. That's what we do in Dubai. Reception desk. Who's dropped my connector, sorry? Yeah. The reception desk. Our design team have just imagined that as a hollowed out pack of timber. Very, very natural, just nothing manufactured about it. It's just a statement piece. So I think our design team have done a fabulous job there. And the cafe and the restaurant are open to external visitors as well. So you don't have to be a member to come and use our cafe bar. It's available as we're going to bill it as the best business cafe and the best business restaurant in Dubai, and for sure it will be in that location. Yep. That one. So again, another view of the lounge area, seating, the greenery, just to really show that it flows through. You can see the kind of organic feel of the cafe area in there. And then we look at some of the co-working areas. So this is a particular area in Dubai. We've got a meeting space with a built-in screen. The other elements, obviously, connecting humans with nature in the workplace. You've also got to connect people with technology. Yeah. So we provide all of the facilities to do that. And for me, technology should be something that never ever gets in the way. It should just work. And we've got all the right equipment, so you can sit on this table with any piece of equipment that you've got, whether it's Apple, Android, PC, and your presentation goes immediately to the screen, and you're working immediately. Everybody's instantly connected. From an IT point of view, big company security is very, very important. We provide segregated networks, we're firewalled, open Wi-Fi for those that need it, and closed services for those that need that too. So understanding the customer and being able to provide exactly what they need to run their business properly is a key to run a successful co-working unit. The area, sorry, just go back. The area just to the far right there as you look, those long panels are actually glass whiteboards, and that's an area that we call Think Space. So you can take yourself off over there with all your notes and sketch it all up on a whiteboard, get all your strategy sorted. Use your digital scanner, iPhone, to take a picture of it when you're done, wipe it all off and walk away. So again, we've got almost a digital strategy area that's part of the collective and part of the co-working unit. So Sean touched on the master plan. So where are we now? We're probably somewhere over here, I guess, aren't we? Somewhere there. So we've got the Marbella site on the far left there, already open. We extended Marbella, so when we opened Marbella, we opened with all of the fixed spaces 100% full, which was completely exceeding my expectations. And we had some extra space that we could take, so we expanded and we opened it in July of this year with another 33 workstations to cater for the demand that we had down there. So Marbella and the expansion already open. Dubai, as we're talking about, opens at the end of September. Leeds, so Leeds is an interesting city in the UK actually. It's the second financial city after London. So you've got the Bank of England based in London, and its out of London headquarters is in Leeds. Lots of insurance companies there, lots of financial companies, professional services companies. So we actually chose Leeds ahead of what you would consider to be a bigger city maybe with Manchester. because of the professional community there and the opportunity to get to revenue in the shortest time. So Leeds, we've got a site there, fabulous building right in the middle of the central business district. We've got 18,500 square feet of space, about 1,750 square metres if you're in near money. And of that, about 500 square metres is a roof terrace. So we've got a roof concept going into Leeds as well, and that's something that again most offices don't have. We've got this real indoor-outdoor space that we can provide. Manchester, we've got 2 locations in Manchester. One that's imminently about to start being fitted out. There's a huge shopping centre it's called the Trafford Centre in Manchester, and it's kind of like just slightly out of town on the motorway network. And the first site is at the Trafford Centre. So this is a place that attracts millions of people on an annual basis. The second Manchester site is right in the city centre, and in the central business district. The building, we've already signed the lease, and it hands over to us in June of 2018. So the building is currently being remodelled. So we take what's essentially going to be a brand new building, and we've gone in there as the anchor tenant. It's exactly outside the door of the Manchester Exhibition Centre, and it's where the Conservative Party in the UK have their party conference, and it's constantly in use for big business events. And we've got an outdoor balcony that looks right over the doorway of the exhibition centre, which we've set up in such a way that Sky TV, BBC, ITV and all the big channels can broadcast from that balcony with the party political conference in the near background. So again, the building is in exactly the right place now, purposely set up for certain industries. Again, huge roof terrace right in the centre of Manchester for events. Manchester, a bit like KL, is quite renowned for its rain, so we've made sure that that's all covered in, and the space can be used on an all-year-round basis. And then we come to Asia. I've been working personally in Asia for 20 years now, understand the market. I've done a lot of work in Singapore, a lot of work in Hong Kong, and they were my first 2 go-to places. I've currently got 2 sites identified and under negotiation in Hong Kong, one in Causeway Bay and another one in Fortress Hill, which is a very popular area for insurance and professional services companies, and very good for co-working providers as well. And in Singapore, again, CBD and Anson Road, if you know Singapore, looking at 2 locations there, so they'll come up imminently. We're also looking at a new expansion into Manila. This afternoon, when I say bye-bye to you guys, we fly straight away to Manila to go and view selected properties in the business district in Manila, and also KL, of course. While we've been here, we've been shown some fabulous properties in KL, and we are now committed to the R-Space business in Kuala Lumpur, which is great news. Just in terms of timescale, from identifying a site, just so it's clear for you, from identifying a site to us being able to open the door and be ready for members, we've got to identify the site, negotiate the lease, design the place, appoint a contractor, get it built, permissions, etc., etc. The timescale is normally between 6 and 8 months from today. So you could imagine that, that by the end of the first quarter, second quarter of 2008, we can have a fabulous art space in Kuala Lumpur. And the great news is that, that all our investors all get a lifetime membership, so the space, our space, is your space, as we say. So you see the longer rollout plan goes into other major cities around the world. All the cities that you would expect to be on there are all on there. We're currently working in the US on a plan to deliver 20 sites in the US over the next 12 months. And not all built. We've got some acquisition targets as well in the US. So going back to the difference between the 50 on the board here and the 500 that you heard from Sean, one of the things that we're actively doing at the moment is not only building sites, but we're acquiring existing companies that we can then bring into the R-Space family and become part of the R-Space network. So the plan is, as he said, 500 units. We'll build some of them, we'll acquire some of them, but what that will do is it will get us to scale, and it will get us to a global PE valuation as opposed to a local PE valuation, and that's what this business is all about. From an investor point of view, it's about money going in, and I'm the same as you guys. I've got plenty of skin in this game, and I want a great return on my money. So I'm doing everything from my point of view, which obviously benefits the other investors to get the best return on my money, and that obviously means then that you can share that with the group. Okay, I think that's given you a reasonable view on where we are and where we're going. I'm going to hand over to Dean Oakford, and I'm going to let him take you through the investment opportunity. But I know we mentioned just at the start, and let me just reiterate this. We're now 18 months into this journey, and we've got some existing investors in the room, and I welcome you all. And we've got some potential new investors in the room, and we're just at the point in this business now where we're out of the startup phase and we're into the acceleration phase. And we're going to go through a really clear change at the end of this month. So 1st of September, everything changes. And the existing investors that have invested before the 1st of September will all get founding investor status. It's a new thing that we've developed so that our early stage investors can get the same benefits that we get as the main owners and investors in the business. So I'll let Dean tell you all about that, but you should listen. It's a really, really key thing. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I think the key thing out of that, guys, from me and my company here is Wolf by Design, and my partner in that. This company that we set up has been running for a number of years, and what we do is we specialise in a mixture of different international investments. Some of you in the room today have been partners of ours, working in local real estate agencies for a long time. And what my company does is it helps to bring international investments like the one of our space to places like KL, so we can all benefit from investing. Without us, the our space investment will never be here, and we can't make money from it. So the key thing from Kevin's speech there, the highlight, is the fact that when they first started this, they thought 50 in 5 years with 50,000 members was possible. Having done it, tested, launched their first location, identified where the next locations can be, they've said, and the 10 times their goal. That to me, guys, just is absolutely fantastic. And people in the room as well, as you know, investors, have you received a return on time, or is it just me saying it? Have you all received? Every month? I think there's a few in the room. So, that really tells us again that, people dip their toe in the water first of all, and it's worked. So me, I'm in case you haven't noticed the accent, I'm from London originally, but I've been living in Asia for the last 8 years, 4 years first in Singapore, then 4 years now in KL. I've had the benefit of actually working in a few of the co-working locations here in KL. In fact, all of the top 3 locations in KL, which is, I mentioned briefly before, W Space, we worked in there for a few months to test it out, see what services, are being on offer. Common Ground was the next one we worked in for a good few months, and now we're in the Colony, KLCC. And later on I'll tell you a bit more about their services, what they offer, and how I think personally our space is going to blow them out of the water. So we've done that for the last, I've worked with the 12 of the top developers on the planet to bring them to our space and to KL. So I'm going to begin. I'm going to run through very quickly for the new investors that have never heard of this investment, what it is, what it details. I think Kevin did a really good job explaining, from a top-down perspective on a bigger view and how he sees the company going and changing. But how do we as individual investors get involved? That's what I'm going to go through today. I would like to think and hope that we're all here today to take action rather than just look at something and gather information. We only make money in this industry when we take action. And I personally think that if everything ticks my boxes, and it ticks it for security, it ticks it for risk, it ticks it for how much money I'm going to make on it, and I'm happy with the people behind the company, I'd like to take action so I can make money. People did do that with Twitter in 2006. Again, a company that doesn't own a single thing. With Airbnb, one of the largest providers of the alternative stock to hotel rooms, doesn't own a single thing as a company. Instagram, Facebook, some of the biggest, distributors of media on the planet, doesn't own a single thing. Uber, the largest taxi company, as Kevin mentioned, doesn't own a single car. WhatsApp, the biggest tech service on the planet, doesn't own a single thing. How are all these companies measured and valued? By members, right? The more members you have, the more people coming back and paying and paying and paying, or content for advertising. That's how these guys make their money. And this has been a cultural shift since 2005-ish, that companies now that are doing well and identify that are the companies that get these ridiculous $1 billion, $10 billion, $20 billion, $50 billion valuations on them from this. So there has been a change in this. The one sector that was lagging behind was office space and how we use office space. And that was addressed by WeWork. So now WeWork joined that list. But I promise you, 2 years ago, I never even heard or understood really what co-working was. I'm sure many of you are the same. A $16 billion valuation, now $20 billion valuation for one company in that sector. I think it, taught us as a company to stand back and analyse what is happening with office space. So that's the opportunity we have today, and I think, we should look at this and take action. When you open your newspaper on a Saturday or a Sunday, I'm sure some of you might have already bought a paper today, I think you'll find that there's so much choice of investment, right? Today, even next door, I think there's another investment seminar going on with another thing you can invest into, probably local Malaysian property. Now, there's hotels, there's car parking, diamonds, student accommodation, land, storage space, wine, graveyard sites I saw for sale last year. Quite morbid, but if it makes money, fair enough. Agricultural, and then you've got your business on your residential, commercial, and invested in business, of course, as well. So much choice. Which one do you do, guys? How do you make a decision to do that? Because 9 times out of 10, what I've seen is people come in, to a seminar, they see a nice glass building, and they buy it on emotion rather than logic. I'm spending my money on something, and what we do at World by Design is teach people. We sit down with it for half an hour to 45 minutes and go through what their current budget is, what they've invested in, what they like about the previous investments, do they know the countries they're investing in, do they know tax issues, way before we even tell them what they should be doing. But most people are sold and buy for the wrong reasons. So that's what my company does. And the opportunities that we bring to the market, to be honest with you, we don't normally sell one-to-one, face-to-face with clients. We provide international product to the bigger companies like the Rigfields, the Mastery Asias of the world, companies that have been there for a long, long time. In Singapore, it's Propnex, it's ERA, government institutions and establishments that we provide product to. So, what do you choose at the end of the day? Well, if you look at the local market, Malaysia, property right now, since it pretty much follows Singapore, the cooling measures happen there. You know, Malaysia market, if you bought property in the last 5-6 years in Malaysia, which I'm sure a few of you have, you probably noticed, you know, you're probably not making as much as you thought you would be when you first invested into it, and it's normally quite a lot of cash as well. Singapore, one of the most overpriced markets on the planet, again, gone down due to government regulation and cooling measures over the last 3 years. Australia, another big option for a lot of Malaysian people that, you know, a lot of Malaysians go on holiday to there or send their children there to study. But again, new tax implications, 7% stamp duty now have to pay, and with that market, of course you can only sell back to an Australian. And so many condos are being sold there over the last 15-20 years that places like Melbourne and Sydney, over the last year, if you invested in them places, you probably know this, but it's very difficult to get a bank mortgage now. Most banks in Singapore or Malaysia or even in global Australia will not lend to new buyers buying a condo in centre city of them locations because it's just too much of an oversupply. They're not going to make their money back on it. So that sort of stopped a lot of Malaysians, Singaporeans, people from Hong Kong investing into them locations. And of course the UK, you've got Brexit. In the US, you've got Trump syndrome. So you know, what the hell do you go on? It's like the world's gone crazy over the last 2 years. All that's meant is that everyone's not so much investing anymore in these top places. This is where the majority, this is where 80% of the typical Malaysian's cash went 2 years ago. But now, the benefit of this is our space is a global product. It's not tied to one specific location, and that's why we took this on a year ago, because all that's happened in the last year is things have just stagnated with Singapore, Malaysia, Australia and the UK, and they've gone as predicted. It's causing confusion, and when there's a question mark over a market, it's when you need to change and adapt. So our space is hedged. It gives you a hedged bet across the whole market. If you invest with our space, you're not just investing in Dubai, you're not just investing in Hong Kong, you're investing in every single site they launch from 1 to 500, and that's what you like about it. We explained briefly before what is co-working, and we saw a little video about that, so I think we all safe to say that we understand what co-working is and why people would use it over their home, their coffee shop, or their traditional space. But let's see what the news is saying. I mean, this is news that I took, spread out for the last couple of years. This is from Bloomberg, Forbes, Tech in Asia. Singapore alone started 2 years ago. It only had 2 locations. The first one there was called The Hive. And then there was another company called Justco that started 2 years ago. Now there's 36 locations, but they're all individual country players. Like Kevin was saying, the value of these companies gets higher with scale. Now these companies like The Hive, for instance, has 7 locations in Singapore, 7, but no plans to launch anything outside of Singapore. Again, starting with the ambition of being the largest provider in Singapore rather than being the largest provider in the world, or at least challenger to WeWork. That's the issue. But if you Google this, it's just ridiculous news. And when I first come across co-working about a year and a half ago, this is exactly what I did, right? When you go home today, it's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to Google co-working, Google the industry, and actually use it. So when you do that, just amazing stuff comes up. As Kevin said before, when institutions start getting involved and banks start getting involved, you're pretty much onto a sure thing. Because these guys have far more knowledge than me or you have. Yes, we have Google. They have reports, stats, figures, teams of hundreds of people working on researching the next big investment to make. And that Japanese bank, SoftBank, yesterday was announced 4.4 billion investment to this sector. It's just absolutely huge. In Malaysia alone, Common Ground, we mentioned before, I'll be touching on these guys shortly. Bukit Damansara, that was acquired by a Malaysian company called Tatra Group. W Space in Mid-Valley, top floor of the North building. Again, very nice, 17,000 square feet they have there. And WeWork's in that group. These are places where we all work. In the UK, McDonald's used to be these colours, right? Their logo's still that colour, but over the last few years you've seen them change from inside their seats being yellow, red, made for kids, right? Now what colour are they? Blacks and greys, like coffee house, like Starbucks now. So even a place like McDonald's is changing, guys, and I see people here in Singapore and Malaysia working in McDonald's, students working there with laptops open till 11 o'clock at night. It's, I never saw that before, so all of it adds up to changing the way people work. These are numbers, Kevin touched on it before with Regis and Servport, but gives you an idea again how many offices compared to scale they have. Now, we work 107 locations, valuation 20 billion. So, divide that by 10 locations mean automatically if you have them on different places, different continents around the world, that should mean 10 locations with 10% of their figures, you're already $1 billion company. You guys are some of you already invested into what will be $1 billion plus company. That's what I really want to stress. This was their valuation last year, again, Bloomberg. Please Google this yourself, it's gone up now to over 20 billion. It doesn't own a single brick. 2008 crash, everyone's scared, right? Every company looking to downgrade, looking to, get money off of their balance sheet, trying to reduce fixed costs to be more flexible in the market. But you can't be more flexible than that. Zero. Doesn't own a single thing. That allows it to be flexible. It allows them to go to a location and say, right, this location in Hong Kong, we have one location. They opened it last year. It's full. It's 40,000 square feet, and it's 100% full within 3 months. So let's open a second one. They're able to do that because, it doesn't own anything. It leases. Same with all these companies, Uber, Facebook, WeWork is now in that sector, LinkedIn, Airbnb, they don't own a single thing. It's all based upon members. This is interesting because this shows you the timeline. Now, WeWork started in 2010. They started with an investment of $350,000 and one office in New York. A year later, because they were the first to do it, to offer these co-working locations, and it was different from Regis, different from Servport, good staff, good service levels, good amenities and services, Pepsi Cola signed up within a year with a certain percentage of their staff. That's a big company. But it took them 2 years to get to 7 locations. When you're starting, as Kevin said, we've gone through that start phase now. Now we're hitting the acceleration phase. And they launched in 7 from a year and a half to 2012. So within 6 months they had 7. That's exactly where we are, or will be from September 1st. And then you can see where the growth goes. And guess what, guys? Once we get to here, there's no more investment into this company because it doesn't need it. So we are in the last 6 months. This is what a typical WeWork site will look like. In case you guys have not seen before. This is just one level of their New York office, by the way. So some of you might want to sit here, some of you want to sit on the sofa. If you really don't like yourself, you can sit on the stairs like this chap over there. But you can sit where you want. If you're an artist, probably the sofa's okay. Some people might be lawyers or accountants. They might need a desk, so they take a fixed office. It's about sharing it. Kevin also mentioned before that when institutions start getting involved, well, these are the institutions that have actively invested millions or billions of dollars into the co-working sector and into WeWork. So as the only challenger or competitor to WeWork, these same companies, if not more, are also going to be very interested in our space. And some of the our space locations are starting in places that will be attractive to WeWork as well. So places that WeWork are not currently in factors into the decision making as to where we launch our offices. But these companies are already investing in co-working. So by investing in our space, you're following this money. It's not just startup companies that are launching and putting members into co-working locations. It's also companies like Amazon, American Express, Morgan Stanley, all have members, a certain percentage of their staff working from co-working locations. The returns this can offer on a yield starts from 10.25%. And our space has been structured, firstly, as an international company, same asset class, similar location, same global appeal and demand as we work, but with a few slightly more different benefits that we can offer. This video will help explain the our space offering to members and what they look and feel will be. Okay guys, so a lot of you will know that I've already been here before. The investment starts in this fantastic opportunity at just $25,000 US. Now we mentioned before that you're able to hedge by making this investment across multiple sites with the company. You're also able to hedge the currency in which you invest into. So flexibility is key once again. Some investors have US dollars. You may have a US dollar amount in a US dollar bank account somewhere around the world. You can use that, and you can get your returns back into US dollars as well. Some of you might have pounds. You can invest into pounds, £18,500. Some of you may have euros. We've not done a euro deal yet from Malaysia, I don't think, but some of you might 22,500 euros. So the ability to change what currency you want. I don't know about you, but the Malaysian ringgit is far too inflexible for me. It changes almost every month. I've seen it here reach 6.9 2 years ago to the pound, and then it's gone back down to 5.5, but it's been as low as 4.8 even just a few months ago after Brexit. So it is interchangeable. So if you want to make some more money on the return and the FX as well, the flexibility to be able to do that and get your returns paid to in any bank account you want to around the world also is something that we like. So there's the mission phase 1, which has just been increased by from 50 to 500. I think Kevin's already done a good job at explaining their non-linear approach. Sean Phillips, when he used to run his gyms and get members for gyms, one of his biggest things was that he never had a member ceiling. He just kept on recruiting. Because everyone joins up in January, February for a gym, and then sort of it dies off. Everyone makes their New Year's resolution. So it's never have a member ceiling. This model is dying, guys. It's absolutely dying. Rent your property to one person, get one linear stream of revenue, minus tax, law periods, resale costs, and lawyers' fees, of course. This doesn't have any of that. No cost, no legal fees to pay. With 100 hot desks, The average co-worker works in a co-working location, if you Google it, the official stat, for 23 hours a week, on average. You get some people that overuse, some people that will underuse, some people won't come at all. When you sell virtual memberships for a location, of course, these people are not buying it to come into the office, they're buying it for the prestigious address. The Lamborghini building, that's where my office is. That's where my reception is answering my calls for me. So then people, it's just pure profit. 23 hours a week means that we can rent out each desk 7 times if we're open 24 hours a day. Gives you an example of how many revenue streams per desk, per seat that this business has. Kevin mentioned before that our offices are designed by someone quite special. His name is Carlos Barbosa. You can check his website out there. He runs this company, which has been, the set designer for Lost, Mask of Zorro, 24, CSI Miami. This is special, guys, because normally when you start an office, who do you go to? Normal architects, normal guys that are going to create the same thing over and over again, therefore nothing special. The reason why these are the most special and best looking offices, I think, on the planet, and if you guys are ever in Dubai for the launch, we have a launch party there in October, where we will be giving away free tickets to there. But come, it's going to be absolutely amazing, and you'll see firsthand how good these offices look like. But for this, that's the interior designer, guys, so they're going to be really, really special. He also runs the architect firm March Studios, which have done offices for Disney, HBO, Adidas, Nike, HTC. So best of breed here, guys, in terms of getting the right guys in for the job. That's Dubai. We've gone through what they look like. Our real estate partner that we use to find these fantastic locations from most places around the world is JLL. Some of you might know them as one of the largest real estate companies in the world. We employ 58,000 people. That's who finds us these fantastic sites. I mentioned our Dubai trip. We will be running some special offers on attending the Dubai trip, which will be October. But just to give you an idea of those that will be coming to that trip, our space and Kevin like to throw quite a lavish party during their openings. I'm sure it'll be the same for KL next year as well, as I'm sure most of them will come to that. But just to give you a little bit of an idea about the Marbella launch, how it went. I'm sure some of you might be wondering. So here it is. Here's Marbella opening. Anyone Anyone going to come for that party in Dubai?
Me.
Yeah, I don't know. Alright guys, so again, if you can make it, we'll be discussing that and we'll end with that at the last thing. There is another video, by the way, guys. I'm going to be sending you all the slides, all the pack, all the videos for you to see, these videos again. But there is one more. The day after this party, Kevin and Sean Phillips did a walk around of Marbella, what it looks like. Some of the living walls they have, some of the water they have there, some of the services they offer. If you really want to see that and Sean go through, you'll get it at the end of today. How do you get involved? How do you partner? What's the structure? It's very simple, guys. We'll be available, obviously, at the end of this with our team to explain this if you have any questions. But the pure and simple detail of it is you form a partnership with Our Space. You form a partnership not governed by Malaysian law, not governed by Dubai law, governed by UK law, which most people feel is, not only is it the oldest, it protects the client and the tenant the most. Or the investor the most. So it's governed by UK law. You provide basically, we will all provide Our Space with a loan over a 5-year period, in which case you have first charge over their assets. That's very important. There's a lot of investments out there. You give money to developer will go and spend that money however he wants to, and if he doesn't stick to his contract, you have to take him to court in the UK, take him to court in Malaysia, take him to court wherever their bank accounts are. With this one, because it's managed by UK, you have first charge, so none of that issue at all with investing with Our Space. Now, some of you invested in this last year, so I've already been receiving them returns and already signed them contracts and been receiving calls and updates from us over the last year. We're into that second phase now, so those of you that dipped your toe in the water first of all, we have a special certain thing for you as well. So that's the basic structure. Investors already won, guys, with things like these companies here. And more relevant, I was reading yesterday, Bitcoin. How many of you bought Bitcoin in the last 5 years? Anyone? No? Surprising. I bought 10 4 years ago, and I sold it. I bought it at £80 or $80 a piece. I sold it when it got to 210 after it dropped from 1,000 to 210. So I still made money, but I was still reeling because it had reached 1,000, 1,002. To my dismay, I read the paper last week, having not even thought about Bitcoin for the last 2 years, and see it above $4,000 US. Yeah. So my point, guys, is don't miss this opportunity to ride the next boat. Our Space are already there. We work are already there. This is no longer, guinea pig investment. Company's already there, $20 billion. Sean Phillips is involved in this, the co-founder of Fitness First, the largest gym chain. He wants to make this the largest co-working company on the planet. And we're starting on that journey, and we're very excited as well to do that. So the offer, what you've all been waiting for. Show you the returns first. So what do the returns look like? 10.25 to 13.25. Some of you may know that invested with us initially. These were the returns that we had last year as well. At that first event, you would have got an offer as well on them. But these returns, as you may know as well, have also gone down over the last year. So to new investors, these are the rates. 10.25 on the $25,000 investment, going right up to 13.25. Now you see here what it comes to quarterly or yearly. I like to work it out like that because then I can put that investment to something. Some of you might be doing this, to afford your car repayments or your mortgage repayments, or some of you might be doing it to put a saving fund up against for your children's retirement. Some people might be doing it children's retirement, your retirement, children's school education fees. I know a lot of my friends and investor friends like to do that, put money aside for that. So that tells you exactly what you're going to get from this investment, and it does do as it says on the tin. At the end of it, there is a 20% capital gain, which I'll go through next. That's the figures in ringgit roughly as well, in case you want to see it in ringgit. The yearly is. the exit, the most important part of any investment, because until you exit, you're just making money, right? You're just making part of your money back. Until you exit, it's not really a return. So this doesn't go on forever, guys. This is limited at 5 years. This is only a 5-year investment for you. Now, 2 examples. End of 5 years, Ourspace had 50 offices, 50,000 members, and they've achieved their first phase. Not 500, they've only got 50, imagine. Or 50 offices with 50,000 members in 12 gateway cities. If we estimate that out, WeWork now have just over 50,000 members. So even if they've got half of the valuation, or even 20% of the valuation of WeWork, still a multi-billion-dollar company. So success. You can choose to cash out 120%, investment over, investment done. If that was me at that stage, you have the option as well, the flexibility to roll your investment at 120% of the value of what you put in into AAA preference shares in the company, and you watch and make money as the company grows, as it lists throughout that period. Now, for me, if I look at that, I think, okay, it's a decision that I have not got to make now, which is one good thing. You make it after you've seen how well Ourspace have done and how they've grown. So if they do get to multiple offices, multiple members, updated you all the time, always paid you a return, and you can see the co-working sector growing. KL is already free, launched this year. In a few years' time, you're going to see, I guarantee in 2 years' time, there's going to be over 40 co-working locations, luxury ones in KL, between KLCC and Mid Valley. You've got loads of individual locations here which you can do it, as opposed to Singapore, which I think is one room CBD area. But it's your choice. One question before we start?
May I ask you questions? Can you share with us what's your occupancy rate or rental rate now in other locations?
Sure. I think the best person to answer that question will be Kevin. He runs it. But yeah, what was the question? We'll go for. How Marbella is doing, occupancy rates and stuff like that. I'll bring Kevin on to this, but yeah.
Thanks. I'm in there. Okay. Yeah, so I think I mentioned before, the Marbella office, when we opened it, we didn't expect at all that we'd be able to fill all of the fixed spaces in the Marbella location, but we did. And therefore we added some more fixed space in the Marbella location. So all the fixed spaces are doing extremely well. Co-working is the part of the business where you build up the membership over a period. Finding tenants for fixed office, it's an established business, and it's quite simple to do that in a short period of time. Co-working takes a little longer. Our financial business model suggests that over 3 years we will get to our optimum number of co-working occupancy, as you might call it. But our sales model that we give to our internal teams is set at 18 months. So what we never want to do is overpromise to investors and then under-deliver. So all our financial modelling is all with a 50% safety factor in it, compared to what we give to the internal teams as targets to achieve. The other thing that we do as well in our financial modelling, we only recognise the revenue in our business plan from the actual, what I call bum-on-seat money. So the money that somebody spends as a member to come and sit at a workplace, open their computer and work. All the coffee that they buy, the water that they drink, the massages they have, car parking spaces, lockers, add-on services, all of our CRM marketing facilities that we offer to the clients is all extra revenue. And we've identified that we can double and even triple our revenues from the add-on services. Think about it. So it sounds good to say that, so I guess I better qualify it. Let's say you come to our Malaysia unit, and as a co-working member, you spend, I don't know, call it $300 a month on your hot desk membership. $300 a month, that's $10 a day. Yeah, not much. How much is a coffee? Just one. Right, okay. Right, there you go. So you drink 2 coffees a day, that's just doubled our revenue, right? So it's really simple. Yeah, I mean, don't even think about having a burger or something to eat, or a massage or whatever else. So I don't want to be glib about it at all, but it's quite easy, isn't it? The co-working part of the revenue. What I want is to get you sat on the seat. Why? So I can give you a coffee. Yeah, and something to eat, and a massage, and a locker, and a car park space. Yeah, so that's where all of the extra revenue is made in co-working. Is that okay for everybody? Yeah. You will see from the end of this month a completely different standard of communication and involvement. We've been behind the scenes, Ivy and Harminder. I know this is important for you as well. Behind the scenes, we've been creating the Founder Investor Club, and that is now all about to start coming to you on the 1st of September. So, as I said, we've gone through 18 months now. We're literally at month 17.8 or something, aren't we, right now? And we're in that very last period that the Founder Investor Club is going to close. So whoever's in by the end of this month is in. If you're not in, you're not in, and it's as simple as that.
The VIP trip to Dubai, that is how many days and what does it cover?
Oh, it's 2 weeks in a 7-star hotel with Rolls-Royce transit. No. It'll be impressive. You saw the kind of parties that we put on, and just ignore the silly minute ago, especially for the video. We'll come on that later. When we bring people to events, and certainly at the headquarters, which is Dubai, we will make sure that you have the best time. Okay, thanks everybody.
Around this podium and ask as many questions as you want. My job up here right now is to tell you the food is still available. I'll tell you still got some food. Please go and help yourself. But one more thing, I was asked if I can throw in a bonus, or this is strictly impromptu. I mean, we plan this. Now, Mastery Asia has a investor club. It costs our membership is about 880 ringgit for a year. But for today, if you decide to come in, it's free. Say wow. So we give you a 1-year membership of the Mastery Asia Investor Club. If you decide to be part of our Space Founders Club, so it's a kind of extra that we give you. So once again, still got food. Thank you.